Thanks for staying with us. All right, so we're supposed to have the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Dr. Betta Edu, was supposed to be our guest this morning, but she just told us that she had to leave. So unfortunately, maybe another time we'll bring her on. But we really wanted to discuss with her the steps to take, especially with this issue of palliatives, how to get to the poor. It was important for us to speak to her, but hopefully we'll have her some other time. So we'll just go back to what we were talking about earlier, because we started the debate concerning the role of the citizens, the role of the government, and the role of those of us who are in the middle class. And people always criticize me of trying to, I'm always blaming the middle class. Is it by force? But it's important for us to also see where we are in this puzzle, because the president will say, Nigeria is a house. We are all in different rooms, right? So if we're all in different rooms, there's a room the middle class is put, where they are serving caviar, they are serving sausages, they are serving bacon, they are serving all. That's the room you are in. Yes. We need the middle class who are eating all this Oyinbo food to come back to the rooms where other people to understand. Listen, we don't need this right now. We need to find a way to review our tastes and our demands and our likes, so that all of us in the whole house can be fed. Because if I keep eating this kind of nice chicken and all these things, other people in the other rooms will not have access. So it's all seeing the bigger picture. And I'd like to come to you because I know that you have a different perspective on this matter.
So let me tell you the truth. There is no middle class in Nigeria. They're either poor or rich. And I'm saying it with my full chest. If with all the work you're doing, all the hustle you're doing, you get up to 1 million naira a month, you are rich. You're a millionaire. In Nigeria, in naira. So all this one that you are deceiving yourself, Mariah, with middle class, you are not a middle class, you are rich. So we have the poor.
1 million a month.
Just
lay premise, go conclude.
Hold on.
Nigerians are watching you.
You heard what I said.
Tell me we are here together.
Calm down. You heard what I said. I said with all the hustles, I'm not saying one job. Everything you're doing, you are a speaker, you're a consultant, you gather everything together, and by the time you add it at the end of the month, it's up to 1 million. Please, you are not a middle class. Stop deceiving poor people. You're either poor or you are rich in the country. And the middle class you are shouting, I've already said there's nothing like middle class in Nigeria. There are people who are rich, who have worked hard for their money, who because of their exposure have exposed taste. Their taste buds, how they call them, is now foreign and imported. You cannot stop them. What you can do as a responsible government is to ensure that they pay double for that thing that they want. So if they can afford it, they can get it. Let them pay double. They pay, the people who are importing all of those things will pay heavy tax on it. That tax will be transferred to the consumer. So you want to eat sausage and you have beef here. You consider your sausage is like 5,000 naira a packet and your beef is 1,000 a packet. You go for your beef. If you can afford your sausage, you should not be crucified for being able to afford your sausage. But government is not doing that. And so it seems like the people who have that foreign taste are now committing crime by deciding to eat that. By the time you tax it and it's very expensive, only those who have the money or those who want to spend the money will do that. And that's okay. We're not running a socialist community. This is a capitalist system. And people will never be equal. And what government does is to ensure that they tax the people who are perceived to have that much so that they can cater for the vulnerable and the poor persons. It's not the job of those people. They do their CSR and all of that in their organization and all of that. You know how many people that you send money to down the line in your family if you come from a very poor home. You do that at your capacity. But government will not leave this job for you to be thinking for them what they're supposed to do. That is where I have a problem.
Okay, I will agree with you to some extent. I pray God help me say this calmly. You see, this Nigerian test, we see where it has brought us, but we live in a denial. Constantly, we would rather blame someone else until we agree to carry our responsibility. We might stay longer where we are. Nigerians will tick on a ticket. How many times a year they go to another man's country to call it enjoyment? Nigerians will tick on a non-existing table how educating themselves from their own roots is bad until they go to another man's country to be educated. Please, who will tell you that something good is in your backyard? That man is educating their children to come and turn your own to resources and educating you to see your own as waste. We don't see it like that, but we'll fight for that foreign exchange to go and get it. At what cost? To remain where we are? Is it not to vacate, be vacation? Use the available resources here. Worst case, vacate in your house.
Tell Dangote
wait, I'm coming somewhere. save the dollar for the important exchange. I'd rather see Nigerian businessmen go abroad the way these Asians come here and use that, and we're paying forex for that, to earn that money and bring it back up the way they take our own back. Not, I just went to Dubai, and you do a picture.
Just about Gucci bag.
That's not luxury. That's a mentality you need to change. I don't want to call it what it is, what Fela called it, but it's a mentality you need to do away with. Now, let's look at this jackpot mentality they've sold us, because everybody is in the embassy. Nigerians are converting hard-earned naira to their foreign currencies, empowering their currencies to go there and take jobs that they claim exist. Today, we are now seeing Nigerians doing video, you call out, waiting they happen, go. Why are we not trying to make this place good? Why does it look so impossible to do? When Singapore released their video, I was watching one Singaporean something on my husband's phone yesterday, and I was like, if you tell this to a Nigerian, they will just slap you. They will tell you you are a dream killer, everything. Because we are in our religious places, pray for visa to come. Yeah. I don't get it. This country was great, not on petrol. By the time Awolowo built Ife, built the cocoa house, we were on agriculture. Yeah. In my village, where my ancestors were farmers, they are selling land. They are not farming again.
Yes, my mother-in-law has land that is just there.
We cannot hate what God gave us and expect it to grow.
I hear you, and I'd like to open our phone lines. Please call us on 081764167, 09024163440. Please call in to join the conversation. I think, was it last week or 2 weeks ago, so somebody close to me was saying, Morel, every money you have, please go and put it to dollar. Dollar is going to, then dollar hadn't gotten to 1,000. It was 900 and something. Said, Morel, go and change your money now. And I said, no. I insisted. The person said, Morel, you have to, because I know. And I said, even if my naira becomes paper, she is my own naira. I will leave it as that, because I made that choice personally. And I'm saying that because before you and even God my witness. Because I know that I must be intentional about my participation in Nigeria's development. So that is how I would like Nigerians, more Nigerians to think. But you see, it's not about me securing me, myself, and I. It's about how do I ensure that I am part of this. I'm not saying government doesn't have their own responsibility, because I agree with BC. Government cannot in any way be removed or removed from this their responsibility. They must also own up to where they are, because they also travel. They do medical tourism, absolutely. They must also be stopped. I agree there should be policies stopping them. But we as the people that can afford it should also rethink what our tastes and desires are in view of...
Okay, let me just...
So the thing is, I agree with you on the part that we all have to be responsible. Yeah. And that's why some of us are staying back in the country to make it work. Some of us are building businesses here. Somebody was having a conversation with me which day, and I was, talking about the guy that came to advertise the pineapple farm. I was considering it. Do I have change to do that with everything I'm doing right now? And the person was like, why are you still planning to invest more here? Why? Why don't you move your investments? And I'm like, but this is my country. I have to grow in my country. I had also opportunity to, convert my money to the money is not even enough to even convert to the USD. It will finish. I left it. So what I did...
I'm sorry, because I'm told the minister is here. So please, can you hold that thought?
I hope I don't forget
it. Don't forget. But I need that thought. But let's go there. Let's take in our minister. Good morning, madam. Are you there? Dr. Betta Edu. Minister for Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Dr. Betta Edu. Welcome to the show. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Although you're cracking up.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning. All right, so one of the first questions Nigerians want to know, especially concerning your ministry, is how you intend to assist the president in getting palliatives, humanitarian help to Nigerians who actually need it, those who are actually poor. Could you give us an idea what your ministry will be doing towards this objective?
Thank you very much for having me this morning. First, President Bola Tinubu has brought on board offering to Nigerians a renewed hope, a hope to lift them out of poverty, a hope to provide security, food security, a hope to actually end hunger, a hope to improve the economy. And amongst his 8 point agenda, and that's what he stands for, that's what he represents. The president is very passionate about Nigerians. He's a Nigerian, and he's a committed one at that fought for democracy, and he's very interested in ensuring that Nigerians all over are truly, truly impacted by his administration. He's made some very bold decisions, some decisions that other administrations were unable to make for several reasons. But he's made those bold decisions to save the economy, to save Nigeria from. For us in the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, our job is to see that we provide social safety nets for Nigerians that can protect them from falling under the poverty line, while ensuring that those who are under the poverty line are actually taken out of that category. A lot of programs, lots of national activities, lots of implementation is needed to achieve this, working together with those at the state and those at the local government level. And we are going to be doing everything within our powers to ensure that some of these programs, of course, includes the conditional cash transfer, which will be based on the National Social Register, the vocational skills youth program, the Empower, the JEEP loans, which is providing loans, non-interest loans to Nigerians that are petty traders, of course, market women, and even poor farmers as they go into the next farming season. We equally would be carrying out several programs around the homegrown school feeding, programs around the Renewed Hope shelter for poor, internally displaced, and refugees. We also have several programs that are just targeted at job creation, micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises, as well as creating employment and giving digital skills to Nigerians that are poor and need to be elevated from this bracket.
Right.
The point is, one, we want to do all our programs in a sincere and transparent manner. We want to see the impact at the grassroots. We want to deal with the people who truly need the support at the grassroots.
Okay.
Honorable Minister, one of the criticism, of course, is that, there are no data for these people. I like the numbers, the areas that you have reached out, that you have touched, the most downtrodden. But what data are you relying on to ensure that people actually get this money, not, some fictitious group of people?
So we have the National Social Register, which has about 15.7 million households, which amount to about 62 million individuals in the National Social Register. We also have the Rapid Response Register. We have other data from the National Bureau of Statistics and several other ministry-housed data that directly points at the multidimensional poverty and those who are affected by it. This data was gotten by geographical targeting and community targeting. What we are presently doing now is to clearly earmark those places, go back to the field and verify those data, and then we can have that integrity and confidence to use this data in administering. We've been on the field since since Saturday when we flagged off, and we're going all across the country to verify the data that we have already. Now, what we found out, I'll give you an example. When I went to about 5 communities in Lagos State. These are suburbs and some areas in Lagos that are really kind of like remote. We went there on Saturday, and what we realized is, I'll give you an example of Makoko. We had areas in Makoko that were covered and other areas in Makoko that were not covered under this register. And so we spoke with the state governor, and we equally spoke with his team on ground to say we need to cover these areas in Makoko and capture these people. And then other places where we find such discrepancies or people who were not included but are poor and are living under $1.95 per day, we would capture them using the Rapid Response Register, and then we would be able to administer both the conditional cash transfer to them as well as other social programs within the social safety net to prevent them from falling into poverty or lift those who are in poverty out of poverty.
Okay.
Okay, so I wanted to find out how you intend to capture, like what metrics is used. Is it like each household or the number of individuals in each household? Because I know that there are some households that will have a number of adults living with them. So do you just attend to the household or you attend to the individuals in each household?
So there are different interventions. For instance, the conditional cash transfer goes to households. So it's supposed to, in one way or the other, affect the lives of persons within that household, not just one person, but as many persons as possible. So the households will prioritize their need. Do we need to pay for the children's school fee? Do we need to subsidize transportation? Do we need to subsidize, improve on our livelihood so that we can get more money for the household? They will prioritize that. Now,
So far she was in Makoko yesterday. And we'd like to also know how she plans to reach out to the other communities, the poor communities outside Lagos. I mean,
Yes,
Makoko is very popular. Everybody knows Makoko.
yes.
Everybody, in fact, everybody goes
Tries
there
to
for
go there
humanitarian.
for outreach,
But
yeah.
there are more people out there who are probably even poorer than those living in Makoko, who are in various communities across the country. So it would be nice to also hear from the minister how she plans to reach them and who else she's working with in partnerships, because I'm sure she can't do it by herself.
Yeah.
She needs partners across the
Another
nation.
thing important to me is not to see the kind of cash.
Okay, I'm told she's
distribution
back.
we saw the last
Hello, madam. Are you still there? We lost you for a minute. Are you back? Can you hear me?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you guys.
Sorry, it was that built a break in transmission. Can you hear me now?
No, you're still not
Yeah, it's
clear.
not very. Okay, so we'll probably still try to bring you on properly because we are running out of time right now. But let me see if you are able to just share with us in a nutshell how you plan to reach other communities across the nation, aside from Makoko.
So we have a team of persons who are on ground meeting with the state governors and the state team, which are indeed the steering committee, and then all the way to the grassroots. We're engaging with traditional leaders, community leaders, to see that we truly get the right people. Like I said, it is community targeting and geographical targeting. So we're targeting the community members, working with the locals to identify those who really, really should be on that list. We're deploying these teams across the country, and we intend to get these verification reports in the next 2 weeks. They are already out in the field, and we need to get these reports within the next 2 weeks. We've deployed different teams to the different local governments, so the 774 local governments. From that point, they will be working with the communities. Now, we're doing this in collaboration with, of course, the NOA, which we all know that they have COMOS, that's community officers at the level of the communities. We're also doing this in collaboration with the Nigerian Population Council, that equally have representatives at the local communities. So they would be the best persons to work with us to identify the persons that need to be on that register, and then verify those who are already on the register, whether we should be keeping them there or we should take them off the register. For us, it's about integrity. There's sincerity of purpose from the part of the president, and he wants this to truly get to those who need the succor at this time. And so we plead with Nigerians. We may not be politically correct, in quotes, so we might not be taking into consideration political interests, we might not be taking into consideration personal and social interests, but we want to truly do the right job. Subsequently, we will still expand to cover the persons who have been in the reported in the MBS as 133 million, of course, multidimensionally poor persons in Nigeria. For this first set, we're dealing with 15 million households. Subsequently, we'll expand this to cover more persons.
All right, we have to wrap up with you, but I think there's a question on sustainability. It's one thing to give one of those one-off gifts, but Nigerians would like to know, are there plans on how, you know how you travel abroad, there's soup kitchen available, people can go there to eat for breakfast, lunch and dinner, there are places you can go to pick up your things you need. So is there a long-term plan to sustain some of these handouts to very poor families?
So, like I said, it's a 360 intervention, right? These are just like immediate response to cushion the effect of the fuel subsidy removal, right? We're looking at more sustainable plans. This includes, of course, the job creation, vocational skills, traders support to build their capital to be able to do better businesses, amongst other interventions that are put on the table. So the cash to the households is just an immediate plan to cushion the effect of the fuel subsidy removal.
Okay.
One last question, ma. Just the cash to the households. How are you going to do this? I would rather that, it's through a bank transfer so there's a trace. But, how exactly do you plan to do it?
It's an electronic transfer from one account to the beneficiary, right? From the government account to the beneficiary directly. There's no middleman, there's no
cash.
There's nothing. It's straight to the beneficiary. And this beneficiary must be verifiable with their BVNs, their biometrics, and all of that. And what we're trying to do is to sign on the Disclosure Act so that Nigerians can have access to who these people are and do independent verification of the ministry. That way we can gain the trust of the public in the work President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is doing.
And that's quite reassuring. Thank you very much, Dr. Betta Edu. And then we'd like to bring you on often to at least give us updates on what your ministry is doing, because we definitely need quite a bit of intervention, especially now that the president is promising 6 months palliative or support to help workers. So it would be great to know how far you've gone in the next 6 months.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, so that's all we can take. I mean, PC, are you convinced?
Yeah.
The government is working.
No. Please don't give me a bad name.
No, you. I can let me continue. Are you convinced?
I'm seeing
I
the
got
progress.
my question answered.
Yes.
Because what I would
Seeing the
hate
progress.
is what I saw the last administration, where people would just queue up, one will carry shine, the other one will plate, and they'll just be collecting cash. There's really no trace of that. If somebody is collecting it from them right after, you can't say. But with a bank transfer,
it can be traced.
Even we can verify if we choose
yes,
to.
and it's a possibility of an audit. If I come out and say I gave 12 million to 12 million people, 12 million can be traced to 12 million people. Those 12 million people come outside, come and tell us, what did you receive? Did you receive? What did you do with it? And I hope that, eventually you're going to extend this to the real vulnerable people. Or there should be a platform where people can enlist, vulnerable people. Some people don't know how to get on the platform. This data has not caught some people, so I'm hoping that...
So everybody should do what they are meant to do. Let's not be pushing responsibility to people who are not even there to carry out the responsibility. As a government, do what you need to do to protect your people. As a rich citizen, do what you need to do to protect your people and protect yourself. As a middle class or a poor person, do what you need to do to protect yourself. However, we're talking initially, and I know there's no time. Let me just quickly add this. Some persons have always traveled within. Nima kept highlighting, if you want to do vacation, you must do within. But the places they wanted to go, when insecurity started, they could not go there anymore. So the government needs to fix the insecurity so that people like us can go to Jos and go to Kaduna and go to Zamfara for holiday, because there are very beautiful places there.
Let me end with this comment from Engineer Ajibola Tijani. Let me just quote a part of it. He says, we need as a nation to deal with our self-inflicted irresponsible attitude and behavior as individuals first. And this will go a long way to make a positive change. We must speak the truth to ourselves first, while speaking truth to power. Every little effort helps a nation, and we must be that change. Thank you very much, Engineer Ajibola, for always giving us some really good tips. That is all we can take on the show this morning. See you tomorrow. Bye for now.